Alrighty, gang. Here's to nights that turn into mornings and friends that turn into family. Cheers! Happy birthday to
you! Hello. Welcome to the Friendship IRL podcast. I'm your host, Alex Alexander, and each week we explore what's working and what's not in our friendships, community, and connections. Have you ever wished you could sit down and have a conversation about what is really going on in your friendships? Well, you found your people. Join us as we dive into real-life stories and explore new ways to approach these connections. Together, we're reimagining the rules of friendship. Do you ever think about how one tiny moment, one small act of kindness can literally change the direction of someone's life? Today, we're diving into a story that started 20 years ago on a street in Orlando when a complete stranger made a choice that would create ripples no one could have predicted. I'm sitting down with Bryan Driscoll, author of The Goodness Game, who took that one moment of kindness and turned it into something much, much bigger. We're talking about a guy who went from just posting a simple, "Hey, need help?" message on Craigslist to creating a movement that ended up making national headlines. But here's what I love most about this conversation. It's not about grand gestures or changing the whole world overnight. It's about those tiny moments, those small choices that we make every day and how they create these incredible ripples that touch not just the person we help, but their friends and their friends of friends. So if you've ever wondered if those small acts of kindness really matter, or if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all the negativity in the world, this episode is for you. Let's dive in. Hi, Bryan. Right before I hit record, I was like, no, we got to just hit record. We got to just hit record because everybody should hear what I'm about to say, which is that, no wonder you had to write a book. Your story is just so good. As I was going through The Goodness Game, I kept just being like, is he making this up? Is this real? And I don't think you made it up.
Yeah.
But it's meant to be on the Today Show. So welcome. Hi. Thanks for being here. Will you tell us a little bit about why I'm over here with my jaw on the floor? What is your story that opens up this book?
Yeah, sure. So I used to be a troublemaker back in the day. I kind of still am, maybe a little bit. But when I was 18 years old, I opened up the book with a story of a lady that helped me who I was never able to pay back. So what happened was I was 18 years old, pissed at my parents. And I'm like, you know what? I'm out of here. Grabbed my stuff, went to the Greyhound station in Pittsburgh. I'm like, give me the next bus leaving. Turns out I was going to Orlando. So I hop on the bus. Have you ever taken the Greyhound?
I have, but not that far.
Okay.
2 to 3 hours. Not,
yeah,
you said 24 in the book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was long. Yeah, because I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm going the whole way down to Florida. So I didn't know what I was doing. I'm like, the next bus was leaving, so I took it. Just pissed off. I'm like, I'm out of here. So take the Greyhound bus, and it goes down. It took almost 24 hours. It's stop to stop to stop. And then on the last stretch, I was talking with this couple, and they're like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out after. And this is before Uber, before cell phones. So you're kind of winging it, payphone style. They took me back to their place and helped me call around. We were using the Yellow Pages to call around places.
I remember phone booths. I remember Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
I can imagine what it would be like to show up and be like, I don't know. It's not like you could Google it on your phone on the drive.
Right.
It's what you're trying to tell people. Yeah.
Yeah. They had one of those yellow rotary phones on the wall, the ones you spin.
Oh, yeah.
It was that kind of style. So I'm talking with them. They're like, okay, hey, we're going to help you find a place. So we called around. Days Inn was available. It was $25 a night. I'm like, okay, great. So I get the Days Inn. And I'm like, okay, what's next? And I'm chilling, getting my bearings. I'm like, I'm living in Florida now. I'm going to go get a job.
Sunshine.
Yeah, it's I'm going to get a job. I'm out of Pittsburgh. It's done. So I go to Publix trying to get a job because I could walk right there. I didn't realize like you can't get a job and fill out an application when you don't have an address or a phone, which is interesting too, because everyone's like, oh yeah, why don't the homeless people go get a job? Like I realized there, it's a little bit harder. It's like you walk in, you can't even fill out the application. So there's hurdles there. So I thought I was going to sell myself to the sales manager, or the manager at the store. I'm like, hey, I can do a good job. And he's like, we can't do that. He's like, regardless, you're not going to get paid for a couple weeks anyways. It's not like we're a corporation. We don't do that. So I go back to the drawing board. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I found these places. They're called job labor pools. So you kind of just show up. You're just there hoping someone picks you for day labor, and they pay you at the same day though, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which you also meet some characters too. Cause like what kind of people gravitate towards that type of work? So I went there. I'm carrying scaffolding. They took me out to this. It was like a humongous parking lot. I'm pretty sure it was the Animal Kingdom where I was working because I was carrying scaffolding from like a big tree. You ever been there?
I have, and I'm laughing because I'm like, man, I feel like I know so many people who would love to have been a part of the process of building the Animal Kingdom. Like what a memory to have. And you didn't even know. You're like, I don't know. I'm just in this parking lot.
I remember it sucked. Like it would
hot.
be awesome if I knew Disney, but I remember back then it was so hot. I didn't have any food. I remember I didn't have a water bottle. It was like horrible. But I did that and I'm like, and I was making $25. Room costs like $25. So eventually you run out of money because you can't eat. So I got the idea, I'm going to sleep at the Greyhound station.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're open 24 hours. Maybe I'm going to crash there. No one's going to notice. And then I'm going to save some money, get back on my feet. So I'm walking to the Greyhound station and this lady pulls up beside me and is a black Geo Tracker. And she just pulls up and she's like, hey, it doesn't look like you belong here. Where are you going? And I don't quite remember what the conversation was, but she took me back to her house. It was like 50 minutes away. Let me stay with her for a couple days, spotted me some money. And like at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, oh, this is really, really nice lady. Looking back on it, I'm like, who freaking does that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I would pick, especially not when I have kids. It's like, I don't think I'm going to pick up strangers on the side of the road. Like that's a pretty big thing. It's like I had an angel looking out for me or something, you know?
That's some like social trust there.
Yeah.
Just like you have a firm belief that people are good and that you're a nice person. And like that's really eroded in our society. Like that's impressive that somebody was, even back then when it was higher, like to do that. Yeah. It's kind of off the charts. Let's talk about social trust for a minute, because I throw that term out multiple times in this episode, and maybe it's not something you're familiar with. So if we go way, way, way back when, social trust was pretty simple, right? You trusted people in your tribe, in your village. It was a pretty small circle. But as societies grew, things got more complicated. Suddenly, we had to figure out how to get along with people we'd never met and possibly would never see again. That's where social trust comes in. It's basically our faith that strangers will follow the basic rules of society. Now, this is not the deep trust that you have with your closest friends or your family. It's not this kind of bigger trust that we have with institutions like the government. This is just kind of broader trust in people. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you might remember we've touched on the concept of social trust in episodes 38 and 41, where we talked about third places and the liking gap. And in those episodes, I've talked about all sorts of statistics on the declining social trust over the past, 5 decades. So today I want to provide a few different statistics than I previously talked about. These are from a Pew Research study in 2018 that is linked in the show notes. But what I want to point out is that in 2018, 53% of adults said that when they meet others for the first time, they typically do not trust them until they get to know them better. 53%. And 49% of adults said that when they walk into almost any situation, it's better to be skeptical. So why am I bringing up those statistics, and why am I bringing up social trust in general in this episode? Because I believe if we are defaulting to feeling skeptical in most situations, that doesn't create a strong sense of belonging, right? We're on alert all the time. But what if we started to act in ways that bring back trust, that give us faith in strangers? Could small actions start to do that and change the trajectory? Perhaps small acts of kindness. How would that ripple effect impact our society as a whole? I like to hope maybe, that it could start to change the path that we're on.
And I even wonder too, it's like, what made her stop? Like, what makes somebody, I don't think I look like a scrub or anything. Like, it's like, what made her stop and be like, hey, you know what? I doubt she stops for everybody. It's like, what made her just pull over and be like, hey, you know what? It doesn't look like, where are you going?
Yeah.
So I'll never know. So she spotted me some money. She let me stay at her place. It's just like a normal house. She had this humongous cat. It was like, looked like a cheetah or something. It was like half size. And then I ended up coming back to Pittsburgh, and she spotted me a couple $100. And the deal was I'm supposed to pay her back. And I came back to Pittsburgh. I was like 18 years old, going to 21 years old, drinking, doing the bar thing, never thinking back about it. And eventually it kept creeping back in my brain. I'm like, I owe this lady money. And I started to make money. And I'm like, I want to pay her back. I'm trying to find her contact info, and I don't know who she is.
Also crazy. I don't know. If I take someone into my home, let them stay a couple nights, spot them a few $100s, like I'm at least telling them my name, you know?
Well, you know what? I had her name though. Like my mom actually had it too, because my mom ended up connecting with her at some point.
Got it.
Yeah, it's not like she just didn't give me, I had her information, and my mom, she had this like white, like you used to keep phone numbers in like a book. You used to write them in a book.
Yeah, ours was green.
Yeah.
It had metal rings. Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, hers had rings too. Yeah, the gold rings.
Yep.
I was actually just hitting her because I'm like, I know you got her number somewhere, and she doesn't. So it's like, it's my fault. Like I should have got back in touch with her in the reasonable time frame, because the information wouldn't be lost. Not get a hold of her 15 years later, which sucks. So that's originally like, that's the story in the first part of the book. It's like, that's how the book came to be.
Okay. So that in and of itself was like, wow, really has you thinking, right? Has you thinking about social trust, about how we're helping each other out. Like that just seems so off the charts. Then you launch in to the next part of the story, which is kind of the basis of the goodness game. And again, I know that this is a different time. I was also living in that time. But when you talk about posting on Craigslist, I'm just like, wow. What is today's version of that? Today's version of that is maybe me posting in like a community board on Facebook, but that's still like a smaller subset of people who are in that group. Craigslist is like the Wild West. So can you tell people what you posted on Craigslist? Because this is where I'm like, this is like Today Show worthy.
So I had this idea, and I'm always curious. So this lady helped me out, and it got me thinking. It's like, okay, she changed the trajectory of my life. And everyone says small acts make a big difference. It's like, is it true, or is it just BS that everyone, like a feel-good word, feel-good phrase? So I was just starting to think, I'm like, I wonder if you can prove it. Like, I wonder if you can like do that and actually see it work. So I went onto Craigslist and I picked a random city. So I'm from Pittsburgh. Chicago is a city. So it's like, I don't know, 12 hours or something from me. So I posted an ad in the free section of Chicago, basically saying, hey, I'll come to your city, help you with anything you need. Like, let me know what you need. In exchange, I don't want anything back. I just want you to pay it forward. And I initially just put it up there, just wondering, I just wanted to see, like, do people reply? Like, what happens? And then people did reply. Like, okay, it's pretty interesting.
And then you had a full day of just like random things. So I have a question, which is why Chicago and not Pittsburgh?
Just I don't know.
Just random. Okay.
Yeah. Like I literally took the mouse and like on Craigslist, they got the city page. I literally took the mouse and scrolled it, and that's where the city that it landed on. That's
really in 12 hours. So you drove there?
Yeah, I drove there.
I mean, that's a commitment. Like, you must like a road trip. You're not like me. There's no way I'm driving 12 hours.
And it's something bigger. It's like, if you're going to do it, go big or go home, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm holding the book right here. I remember this page last night with your photos. So you went to Chicago, you helped someone pick up their car. You helped somebody get a car battery. You helped somebody move a swing set. You helped somebody demo a bathroom, and you dropped some clothes at the homeless shelter.
Right.
That's a pretty full day.
It is. You know what? I think I forgot to put in the book too, which maybe I did. I don't remember. The guy that I helped pick up the truck actually helped us move the swing set.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I forgot. I don't think I put that in there.
That's fun. Was just like, yeah, let's go.
Well, because I helped him first, and it's like I immediately, like, he was helping out. It's like, okay, this is cool.
So when you're doing that, because you didn't talk much about this in the book, like you're showing up, and are these people just like shocked that you're actually a real person that's there? Like, did they expect you to appear, or were they kind of like, yeah, this person's, said they would help me, but was going to flake out? Did you get any sense of whether they actually thought this was real or not?
The first guy, Mike, I remember pulling up, and he was the guy with the truck. He's like, wow, he actually showed up. But like I communicated with them too, so they knew I was a real person. It's not like we were just communicating through email.
Yeah.
Number one, because I wanted to make sure these people weren't going to shank me too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I was paying attention if they thought it was odd or not.
I mean, you just seemed like you were on your own mission, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, like, again, right, high social trust. Like, you had just decided you were going to do this thing. You were going to maybe change the feelings some people had out there, right? The kindness, like you were going to create that ripple effect. So you probably weren't so worried about the negatives because you had already decided this was going to be positive, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? You're just like less apprehensive.
Yeah, I kind of do things. I just can put blinders on. It's like, okay, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think I got the consequences.
I mean, we learned that in the beginning of the book, number one. And number two, I get that. This has nothing really to do with the book, but I think about it a lot. I think it's something to do with like some of us just trust that if we get ourselves in a certain situation, we can get ourselves out of it.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of put the blinders on because you're like, well, I could think of the 100 ways this could go sideways. Or I could just trust that if one of those happens, I'll figure it out.
Right. Yeah. I'm more along the lines of that.
Not saying that that's for everybody, but I'm similar to you. I get it. That's kind of how I move through life too. So no judgment here is I guess what I'm trying to say. So when you did this the very first time, the whole book is about turning acts of kindness into a game. Did it feel like a game the first time, or was it just like a proof of concept? I know you didn't have the book in mind, but I guess, did you go into it being like, I think this is going to work? Were you like, there's no way? Were you like, I don't know. We're just going to see what happens here. Like, what's the mindset?
Yeah, I didn't even have an objective, really. It's like, I was just more curious. Like, I didn't even know I was going to make a video about it until I got back. I was just snapping pictures and put a voiceover. It's like, I was more just like, I saw the movie Pay It Forward, and that inspired okay, it's like, okay, you can do these kind of things. And I'm like, I don't know. I just want to just kind of see what happens.
Okay. I just am trying to, I think the mindset piece is important because I think there are a lot of people who will hear your story and they are intrigued, right? And they want to do this. So then it's like, what kind of mindset do you have to be in to actually do it? Like, not just talk about it, not just think about it, not just say like, wow, Bryan Driscoll's really out there showing us what's possible. Like, to actually do it. And it sounds like maybe just curiosity, like curiosity on how this changes your life, on how this changes other people's life, on what the experience is like, maybe.
Yeah. And also when being curious too, it's like, I like being uncomfortable. I've learned that I enjoy being uncomfortable because of past experiences, and I learn you grow. It's like, get used to putting yourself in a weird situation and then seeing what the outcome is. Most likely the outcome too, like you were saying before, when you think all the bad things that are going to happen, most never happen.
Yeah,
it's like all
exactly.
in your head. Just do something small. It's like you don't got to drive to another city. It's like, be nice to someone, something small, and just see what happens.
Yeah. So then we've done all of this. You've had this experience. You didn't really know where it was going to go, but felt good. When you went to write the goodness game, why gamify it? Like, why a game, right? You could have just written a motivational book of your story and here's the takeaways. Why a game?
So for like 20 years, 25 years, I've always been thinking there's something I can do to like inspire kindness, pay it forward, right? And every idea I came up with, I didn't feel comfortable with. It's like cringy, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to do something. It's like, hey, look at me, or like whatever, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And eventually the idea popped in. Someone actually brought it up to me too. It's like, why don't you make it a game? Like, you ever hear of like 75 hard? Like where people work out?
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
So it's like 75 hard's a game, but it's not really a game. It's something you do. So it's like, okay, why can't we make this like a game of life? Like something like that it's like a rule book, because I think a lot of people want to do things and everyone gets caught up in their headspace. So it's like, okay, here's a framework that's really easy for anybody to find out like what you're built for, not what somebody else is built for. And then it gives you the plan to at least start. And then you get to take it on your own. You know, so it's kind of like a game is the way I found that I'm comfortable talking about it and comfortable putting it out there. Because otherwise it's like, I don't really like the spotlight on it. It doesn't feel good to me.
Yeah, I do. I mean, you deserve the spotlight. That's why I'm over here smiling, but I get it. I really do. But I think like the game is cool, and I'm jumping around in the book, but you know, at the end of the book, you actually offer a scorecard, like a way to rank. You talk about like the ROI, right? The number of people impacted, your mood shift. It's just so creative. I've never thought about it as a game. And you can definitely play that game with yourself. But something else I was personally thinking would be fun is like, let's say you had some other people in your life or your family or whatever, you know, you could quote unquote play this with other people where you don't even need to tell them what you did, but you could talk about like what your score is at the end. Like, I really do think you could make this, you can play it with yourself. You can play single player game or it can spread. And it's just a fun way to frame this. And as far as not bragging about yourself, then you can take the scorecard back, list off your score, and you don't even need to talk about what the things are, right? You don't need to quote unquote brag about yourself. You can just be like, this month I hit X ROI.
Right.
You know, my score was 20. My score was 7, whatever it is. And like next month I want to hit 9.
Yeah. There's multiple ways.
Just like congrats, I guess is what I'm trying to say, Bryan. It's a pretty cool concept.
I appreciate it.
And I see a lot of things like this, and I haven't seen anything like this before.
Nice. That's the goal, right?
That is always the goal. So if we go back to the book itself and some of the rules, I have a few more questions.
Let's do it.
You know, your first rule talks about how, well, I don't remember the exact wording, but it talks about how it needs to be anonymous.
Yeah, give without remembering.
Give without remembering. Can you talk about why?
Yeah, so I had in my mind when I was thinking about that, Fight Club. It's like, you ever see the movie Fight Club?
Yeah.
It's like Fight Club. It's like rule number 1 of Fight Clubs, you don't talk about Fight Club. So I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, if we're going to make a game about being kind, it needs to be pure. It's like, we're playing the game to help people. We're not playing the game to say, hey, look at me. So the first rule is give without remembering. So there's different ways you can help people. It's like, you can help people and nobody knows. That's like purest kind. It's like not even the person you're helping knows. Then there's different ways. It's like, you know, and the person you're helping knows. And then there's sometimes it's like, the way we're going to avoid in the game is like, I know I did something. Now I'm posting on social media how great I am. We're not going to do that, but we do want to involve other people. So there's a difference of people knowing and being like bragging and stuff versus like, hey, my neighbor just was in a car accident. I'm going to pull people together to say we want to make dinner. Like one person makes dinner. It's like, we want to involve other people to play the game, but we're not doing it to try to get social content or try to like boost ourselves up. We're doing it basically just to be kind, right?
Yeah.
So that's rule number 1.
Then my follow-up question to this is, that means that you're helping a lot of strangers, probably, right?
Sometimes not. A lot of times it's people you know.
And it's just, I guess the anonymous piece is like the not doing it for the reciprocation. It's just doing it to do it.
Right. And it's not necessarily anonymous in a lot of situations. So say, for example, someone's having a bad time and they just need some empathy and someone to talk to. Mm-hmm. They know you're there. You're not anonymous. You're not doing this from like behind like a priest board or something. So it's like, you know, but the thing is, we're not going and telling other people, but like, you know what? I went out today and helped this person because it's like, we're just doing it to do it, you know?
I do know. I've had people in the past who I'm maybe not as connected to anymore say to me like something about how I'm always helping X, Y, and Z, and like they know about it, or I talk about it, or I brag about it. And I always want to be like, if you only knew the number of things I do that I never talk about, like the one thing you hear about a month is nothing compared to what I'm actually doing. And honestly, I think if I sat down, I think that once this becomes more normal, I don't know how you feel about this. Sometimes I don't even know if I could list all the things I've done in a month, because it just becomes so natural to do it, because I'm not paying attention to whether it's going to be reciprocated. I'm not like overthinking it. I'm just like, yeah, I can help here. Great, done, move on.
Yep. A lot of times you don't even think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's so natural.
Yep.
And I think that would probably be the hope. Now, I'm not saying, again, I'm some perfect person. And I definitely do that. It's second nature in certain ways, in certain like categories, like the places where it comes easiest to me, which also ties into your book because you talk about thinking about your helper style. So I think that's it, is I've just really narrowed in on my helper style. Will you talk a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, sure. So I was thinking about, it's like, okay, I'm thinking about why people help people, why people don't, and then what do I do? So I'm like, I don't like doing certain things, and I do like doing certain things. And I got this from business. So in business, I did an energy audit. And basically, you take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. One side, you say what gives you energy. One side, what takes energy away. And what I did was for a whole week, I write down everything I do. And if it's on my gives energy side, that's stuff that I'm supposed to do. If it's on takes energy, that's the stuff I'm supposed to delegate and pay somebody else to do it, right? So I was thinking about that for the game also. It's like not necessarily business, just pay attention to what gives you energy in your life and what takes your energy away. So for example, like I'm not the guy to clean someone's house. I hate freaking cleaning.
You and me both.
Some people are like, you know what? I pop my headphones in. That's my relaxing time. Like, so everyone's built for something different. So when I go through there, it's like, okay, find out what your helping style is. Like figure out what gives you energy and only do that stuff. Like obviously if someone needs help moving or something, then that's not your energy. You're still probably going to help them with its family, but it allows you to be really intentional on like what you're doing when you're looking for things. It's like, okay, you know what? I was talking to someone yesterday. They love pets. They're volunteering at a pet place. It's like me, I would hate that. But she's like, this is so fun. You know, or like my wife, she's a paraprofessional at school. She likes working with kids. It's like everyone's got their thing.
Well, and then I think it can extrapolate out for anybody listening in our combo. Like, let's take the pet person, for example. If you're a pet person, yes, they are volunteering, let's say at a shelter. But there are so many other places you can help someone. So if a friend is trying to decide whether to take their dog to the vet or not, maybe you're always the person that offers to like be that phone call to talk it through with them because you know animals really well. If somebody walking through the grocery store is staring at the pet food aisle being like, I don't know, I just adopted a new cat and I have no clue what all these bags mean, stop and talk to them. If you are out on a walk and somebody's dog has broken free from the leash and somebody's chasing after their dog, you know, maybe you stop because you understand how to approach a dog you don't know. Like, I really think once you hone in on your helper style, it can infiltrate like your whole life. And that is so many like tiny, small acts of ways to help someone. Like doing that work, if nothing else out of your book, could like totally change someone's life and how they show up in other people's lives.
Yeah, it's cool because then you realize, like everyone knows what they like and don't like, but they don't know. It's not like you have a list. So it's like you just know, oh, I don't like eating broccoli, for example, when you eat it. But you don't have a list of the things because if you had a list of things you didn't like to eat, you wouldn't buy them. Like you wouldn't eat them at all. You'd just avoid the situation. Same thing. It's like, just list it out. You do it once. It's like, okay, it gives you a little bit of direction. And it takes that thought process out of it. Because that's the thing. It's like, oh yeah, what if I do that and it really sucks? Well, you've already thought it through.
Yeah.
And you're not getting into situations that are going to suck because you already know where you're going.
I talk about that in my book too. I call it something different. I call it the do less list. with the idea that, right, if you haven't thought it through and people are asking you for help, you feel like you need to do all these things to show up for people. It's really overwhelming. And so if you can just really narrow in on the ways that you like to show up, you're good at showing up, right? It helps define it. I always love when I talk to people who are doing similar work. It's like we have different structures that we put it in, but so much of it is the same. Like somebody just paying a little bit more attention to this can make them so much more likely to do small acts of kindness because they're just like less overwhelmed by all the other noise. I want to come on and correct myself a little bit here. Sometimes I use these narrations to pop in and expand on something or offer more thinking, but sometimes, if you've been here and listen to some episodes, I come in and I correct myself because when we're in the conversation, I'm just so in it that maybe I should have done things differently. And in this case, I got so excited about the fact that Bryan and I both talk about getting intentional about determining how you can show up for others, like what your roles are, that I kind of wove in my methods of talking about this. Like when I talked about the whole pet example, that's part of how I help people figure out what their style of showing up is. But Bryan has a different style. So whether you buy his book, which support authors, would love for you to go buy his book, or you go to his website where he actually cares so much about getting this message out that he offers a free PDF download of the book. Like that's how much he wants to make the change here. He actually talks about it. He has 5 types of helpers. So he has financial helpers, empathetic helpers, sweat, connecting, and thinking. And that just might be a better structure for you to think of this. So whichever one you choose, I love that because it just means you are one step closer to going out there and showing up for your people. So I'm not trying to give away your whole book. Guys, you got to buy the book because 1, it gives you the rules. 2, you need the scorecard. But there's a story in the book that I couldn't stop thinking about. And I want to talk about it because, I mean, I know you included it for a reason, but you know, we're talking about this helper style as like, oh, things that are kind of hard, things that are, you know, take up a lot of time. The umbrella story. Did you know I was going here? No.
It's wondering in my head, which story are you talking about?
Can you tell a little bit about the umbrella story? And I'll tell you why I think it's such an amazing choice to include in your book. Because often when we think of helping people or showing up, it's this kind of like burden. It's like, oh, I got to fit that into my day. I got to do this thing. I got to stop what I'm doing to talk to the lady in the aisle about the dog food. The umbrella story is an activity in and of itself. It's just fun. You know, you got your friend involved. It's just helping people can be fun. It can be silly. It can be like its own memorable friendship activity. You know, I think sometimes people talk about like volunteering together, and I love that. But what the umbrella story reminded me was that it doesn't need to be that complicated. Like we don't even need to sign up for a volunteer thing. We could just go laugh for 30 minutes and help some people. So can you tell us a little bit about the umbrella story?
I will. And you know what, too? I'm kind of the same. Like, I don't like the corporation. Like, charities are great, right? I always like doing just stuff. It's like, I don't want to sign up for a corporation, worry about the structure, the rules, things like that. I like to beat to my own drum. I basically avoid most of them and just do things like this. So I don't remember what this was. This was a while ago, long time ago. And I was in the dollar store. I was going to the dollar store to pick something up and it was pouring rain. Like one of those, like it was raining hard. And I was checking out and I saw this basket. They had just like a wicker basket full of dollar umbrellas. It's like 20 of them or something. So I got an idea. I just bought them all, tossed them in my trunk, called out my buddy Sean. I'm like, hey, dude, you want to go out and like mess around and have some fun? Picked him. He's like, yeah, he didn't even know what we're doing. We drove downtown Pittsburgh and he was in the passenger seat and we were just driving around looking for people getting drenched. And he hopped out, gave him an umbrella and then like we left. Like he left. Like you couldn't even talk because it was coming down so hard. And he's a fairly big dude. He's like, I'm just approaching these people quickly, like downtown Pittsburgh, and then running away. It's like, Like imagine from their point of view, but basically we just having fun. It's like, hey, I got 20 umbrellas. You know, people are getting drenched. Like, let's go pass them around.
That story reminds me of something I would have done. And I don't know how old you were when you did that, but like something I would have done when I was 20.
Yeah, I was probably like 20, 25.
My friends and I are just like bopping around in the car, listening to something really loud, not really knowing where we're going. But when I talk to people today, like people out here, you know, with a million balls in the air, they got kids, they got jobs, they got careers, they got positions and volunteer and community, whatever. People always are so nostalgic for like those younger times, right? But are we all getting in our car just driving around randomly? Like, no. But I don't know. I'm 35. And if somebody was like, let's go pass out some umbrellas, I don't know, I might get in the car for 30 minutes. Like that sounds a little bit like it's going to transport me back. And that's why I love this story is like, I don't know, why not?
Right.
Why not? That'd be pretty funny and like a good time. And you're helping some people out. The cost is low. It's like a great friend hangout if you haven't seen your friend in a few weeks and you can't find any reason to get together because life's too busy. And you're like, you know what? 30 minutes. I will pick you up. I will drop you off. Let's go. What a memory. And we can like make those at any time.
And the thing is, it's like you can imagine like whatever you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's so many different, like I just happened to grab umbrellas because it just happened. But it's like there's so many different things you can do. It's just like, just do them.
Yeah. I mean, coats to people that are unhoused. Like there are a million things you could do. Smiley balls. You could do something just silly, like stress balls. You could walk around downtown during rush hour Seattle and just hand people stress balls and be like, oh, it looks like you're having a rough day.
Yep.
I don't know. Give somebody a smile. It's like a tiny connection point.
Exactly.
So the next thing I want to talk about is, and I just want your take on this because I'm curious. You mention in the book that nowadays you tend to play the goodness game like financially. And I'd love some examples of that. I'm curious of how you're showing up and playing the game. The reason I ask that is because, well, I'm curious how you're playing the game because I'm guessing you're being, like you're playing the game. You're like being more mindful about it, right? You're kind of following through the process. Sometimes I think today when we are playing not the goodness game, but somebody's trying to do a small act of kindness, there can be a lot of just like, oh, random fundraiser, like donate, never think about it again. So how do you stay mindful when you're playing the goodness game using your finances?
Yeah. So what I do is every time I get a check, I hold a certain percentage of money aside. And I have a separate checking account. It's like the give account.
Yeah.
And the reason I do that is like back in the day, I used to, I think it's a problem for everybody too. Like I used to get too involved or it's like someone had a problem and I would give away my money and I'd like be screwed at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So that's initially why I started like sectioning money off. And then it turned out to, it's like, okay, that's now my give account. It's cool because I don't even go look for people. It's not like I'm going out looking to like say, oh, I'm going to go help someone today. It's there for when the thing pops up. Mm-hmm. So it's like when something pops up, number one, I don't have to think about it. It's like that money's sitting there. That's not coming out of, it's no longer my personal income.
Yeah.
Like that's not for bills or for whatever. That's what it's for. And sometimes it might sit there for like a month or two. Like it may build up and it's like, then someone comes with a real problem. It's like, you know what? I got you. Like, and it's no big deal at all. It's like a fairly significant sum of money sometimes. And it's like, it doesn't matter. And all I'm doing is keep my eyes open. It's like when something pops up that I think I can help out with, I step in.
I mean, one, very cool, very inspiring. I am very intrigued by this idea. Note to self, look at that. But two, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with like the helper style. Like you've identified that you have the financial means to do this. You've picked an amount, you've set it aside. And like you're saying, like when it appears in front of you, you don't really have to think about it.
Right.
It doesn't have to be this big ordeal about like, oh, well, do I have the funds? Can I do that? When's the last time I gave money? Have I given to this cause before? Like all this thought process is just gone.
And you don't need paid back.
Exactly.
It's like, because it doesn't have to be an organization. It could just be whatever. It's like, hey, someone needs money. They're looking for a loan. They're like, hey, you know what? I can't pay my car payment, for example, or whatever it is. That money's there to gift. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like you got to give someone money in a heart. I wonder if they're going to give me that back. It's like, in your head, I'm gifting this money to you.
Yeah. Talk about an outside the box idea. That's what we love on this podcast. I don't think there are a ton of people who are doing that. Maybe to some extent, but I think that's going to spark some good conversation. I'm really excited that you shared that. Which brings me to the next thing, which is what I wanted to talk about is like you mentioned in the book, modeling this and teaching it for your kids. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. And it's funny. I think kids are my audience. Because a couple teachers have just had me talk to the classes, like 3rd grade and 1st grade.
Yeah.
Like I never knew that, but I'm like, I was nervous going in. But like with my kids, I think they see a lot they just observe. Like they notice things. So I don't know if I necessarily teach them the game as the game. They just see it as this is what we do. But now I'm seeing too, it's like I'm talking to these kids in schools and everything. I'm like, they're innocent, number one. They're really curious and they get it. They haven't been punched in the face enough yet by life to think that you can't make a difference. And so they're like really curious and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's really cool with kids, especially people with kids too, because it helps with core values. Like you can bring your family together and do something together and everyone gets to feel good. And you're giving your kids a gift because when you help people, you feel good. So it's like you're teaching your kids. It's like, okay, it's just like a byproduct. So they help someone else too. And they learn that at a young age. It becomes part of them versus just being all about me or video games or whatever. It like gives another little part to their personality.
So when you, I guess, are teaching your kids or other kids, and I guess maybe this depends on ages, like, are you mainly modeling it and talking about it? Are you like helping your kids with their goodness game acts and kind of like going above and beyond, right? Like you're putting energy in to facilitate it. How are you doing that in your household?
So like with my kids, every time they get allowance, they got the same thing. They got a spend envelope, give envelope, and save, right? And now we just switched over to an app, Greenlight. It's like for debit cards for kids. Cool. And we can do the same thing. You can section it. So they know, okay, I'm holding, say I get $10. $1 goes into the give. Once that builds up, I took them down to one of the food pantries here and had them take the money. It was like $8 or $10 or something, but had them physically go there and we were able to walk around too. And this is right down the road. And I live in a nice neighborhood and there's a food bank. It's called Shim and they give food to people less fortunate, right? But my kids got to see it's like a little grocery store almost.
I worked at one in college. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got to see it. And then they also got to see too, the lady there was talking to them. She said, did you know we can get 5 bottles of peanut butter for what it costs to buy one in Giant Eagle, which is a grocery store. So they got to see too. They're like, okay, wow, these places, if you give them money, they can go buy more peanut butter than we could buy and just give to them. And they can give it to people. So they kind of got because it's one thing. It's like, say, for example, you give money to a homeless person or something. They see you give the money, but they don't see what happens after. But in this scenario, they got to see like where it went. They didn't see who the recipient was, but they got to see like what people out there are doing too. And I think it shows them a couple of things. It's like, okay, I can do my part, which we gave them money, but they're the one doing the big work. It's like, we're just helping them do their thing. They're like the ones doing the heavy lift.
Yeah. So then are there times where you're trying, that's obviously showing them like the money helper style. And I guess, sorry, these are questions about your kids, but maybe any kid. Are there then tips maybe for like the other helper styles? Are you trying to show them how each one works? I know a lot of parents are going to have questions about this because this is obviously something, right? We want to change the tide out there, build the social trust.
Yeah, that's a good question too. So originally I wrote the book for adults, right? And now I'm seeing it's like for kids. So I had to go talk to classrooms. I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't appropriate. Talk about running away and stuff. What I did was I started thinking scenarios for kids. It's like, okay, one scenario, it's like we come up with a story. There's someone on a playground. They're the new kid. It's like, go invite them over to play with you. They're the new kid. They don't know anybody. They feel anxious and things like that. It's like, you don't have to do anything. You just, hey, do you want to come play? Or you can sit with me at lunch. Or you can help people find, like we were talking, I came up with a story with the kids. It's like someone lost their necklace. You're the finder. Like we dropped what we doing, grabbed a couple kids. We looked around, tried to find things. So it's different things like that I'm trying to like relate the kids to. It's like, okay, think of things like problems kids are dealing with. Like my kids were a new kid in school this year. I know what they dealt with. And I know how nice it was when other kids just included them. Or even just say, hey, you know what? I like your hair. Like kids are mean sometimes. It's like you just try to break it down into things like that. It's like you don't have to spend money. You don't have to do big things. It's like just say hi. Hey, I like your shoes. You want to sit with us? Include people. Don't be mean. Stuff like that.
Very cool. I mean, I think this is a really cool message for you to take to kids for sure. And adults. I think adults need the Goodness Game book, the original version out there. But, it's really a universal concept that definitely spans the ages. That's for sure. So if we were going to close out this episode, because I do want to leave some things hidden so that people go buy the book, because there's talk about burnout. There's talk about the ripple effects that are created. You have more ideas in the book, the scorecard, like I mentioned earlier. But my question to you is, like, you've been playing the Goodness Game for a while. What do you think is the biggest impact maybe you've seen on yourself and also you've seen on people around you?
Good question. So on myself, what's interesting, because it keeps my life interesting. So, okay, so here's an example. I talk about them in a book that my friends, they deal with homeless. They go downtown in Pittsburgh and do stuff. So they always have these people in need and things will pop up. They're like, hey, you know what? Maybe someone needs a bed for their kid. And the cool thing is, like, if you can help with things like that, in my head, it's always like, I never know who these people are. So it allows me to imagine. It's like, wow, someone out there just got a bed or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I get to feel good. Number one, it's like a byproduct. It's like makes you feel good. It's like, I wonder what if. I wonder what. Because you figure, I always give money to homeless anytime I see someone that's homeless, right? And even my kids ask me this, and I'm pretty sure I asked my dad this too. It's like, what if they go buy drugs or something? And it's like, what if 19 of them, nothing happens, right? But law of large numbers, what if that $20 allowed that person to go get a pair of shoes and go get like, what if that one act was the turning point in their life? Like everyone has turning points. And if you look back at your life, the turning points you have, the things that someone might have done might have been like really small or like insignificant, but it made like a big trajectory in your life. It's like, so you just do a whole bunch of stuff. It's like you're giving jabs all the time. Eventually you get a knockout. It's like you just keep doing things. And eventually, like I always figure, wow, one of those things is going to be out there and it's going to help somebody. Like the lady that helped me, she just thinks I'm like some kid that ripped her off for $300 maybe. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't know the trajectory. She changed my life. So like, it would be kind of cool to be able to do that for someone else. So I just keep doing it.
Yeah. And I mean, I was thinking too, like almost always, I think somebody's, maybe not, but I would think more often than not, somebody's turning point is because of someone else. Like without that, what's going to happen? So if, 1 out of those 20 times is that time, like what would have happened to that one person? How cool.
And sometimes I even think too, sometimes it's not like that you did something for someone. Here's an example. My buddy is losing weight, right? He just signed up and he's eating really healthy, things like that, which made me want to do that. Like he didn't approach me, be like, hey man, you want to start eating like more protein? But by seeing what he was doing, I'm like, you know what? I think I could do that. I think that would be good for my life. So like your kids obviously see that, but you see that in everyone in the world, like who you surround yourself with. So it's like, not necessarily the things you're doing. Some people just might see something and take action on that too. It's not like you did something to trigger it. It's just being, you know what I mean?
You talk about the ripple of kindness in the book, but this is also a ripple, right? Like a, ripple of impact. Like you don't even know how many circles outside of yourself you're touching by giving someone else, I don't know if it's permission or inspiration or a reminder that this is something you can do. Like this action exists. But that's pretty cool. Well, Bryan, I just want to thank you for writing The Goodness Game and for coming on the podcast and talking about it. I just think it's the gamification. People love gamification. I can't say that it is my method of getting myself to do something at all, quite honestly. But my husband is the exact example of the person who would just lean in to this and would turn it into something that, like, him and his friends, like I said, maybe compare a monthly score, or he tracks his own score and tries to get higher every month for the year. I just think for so many people, this takes something that feels so like abstract and out there and makes it feel a little more concrete and doable and actionable. So I just want to thank you for writing the book.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. This was great.
Okay, well, I'm inspired. Are you inspired? Because when I'm recording this, I'm about to walk out the door for the day. And I'm going to be on the lookout for some little moments. Just like so small, so inconsequential, but I think they're inconsequential, but I have no idea of the impact on the other side. That's what I'm looking for today. Maybe a big moment presents itself, but I don't need that. I can let the small actions add up. So I want to thank Bryan for coming on here and having this conversation, for writing The Goodness Game. Go check it out. Go buy it if you so choose, or head to his website, goodnessgame.com. They're both linked in the show notes. And you know what? If you are out there playing the goodness game, Bryan and I want to hear about it. Send me a message. I don't need to know, we can keep it anonymous. I don't need to know the things, but if you're looking for somebody to tell about the fact that you are trying this out in your life, I'm always here. And with that, see you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of Friendship IRL. I am so honored to have these conversations with you, but don't let the chat die here. Send me a voice message. I created a special website just to chat with you. You can find it at alex.chat. You can also find me on Instagram. My handle at it's Alex Alexander, or go ahead and leave a review wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts. Now, if you want to take this conversation a step further, send this episode to a friend. Tell them you found it interesting, and use what we just talked about as a conversation starter the next time you and your friend hang out. No need for a teary goodbye. I'll be back with a new episode next week.